tightly fit in here today. Let me go ahead and get started. So the seminar, as I said, is already on Canvas. So if you go to online.utk.edu and go to Canvas, you can find the syllabus. These are the speakers that we currently have scheduled to speak. There's 12 of them. You're required to attend 75% of them. And attend 75% of them could be attending like we are today. There's an attendance sheet going around. Make sure you sign your name on the attendance sheet. If you work out at the lab and you have a conflict and can't come, you can attend using. You can see the webcast either in real time or asynchronously later. It's located, if you go to ne.utk.edu, so our nuclear engineering splash page, then you go to, I think it's under news. I think the top one in there is Colloquium, and then there's the most recent Colloquium and the Colloquium archives. So you can get to it there. So if you don't attend in person, you have to do a one-page summary, and then you can upload that on Canvas. I put all the assignments on Canvas, so I think you can go right to Canvas and just upload it. Then when I go to my grades page, I see that you've uploaded it, and I can give them a quick read and give you credit. So you have to come to 75% of them, so that's 9 of them. We also might have some special seminars throughout the year. They wouldn't be scheduled at the same time as this, but I'll announce it. I'll make sure everybody in 501 gets notice of the seminar. And those are just extra ones that you can use to meet the requirement of 9. So if you can't come in, and we have a couple of them that are going to be virtual. So those will be people that aren't going to travel here. Faculty member from TAMU and one from New Mexico. And those will be done through Zoom. So when they're done through Zoom, I have a record that you're attending it. You have to attend at least 30 minutes of the seminar. So if something happens, you get there late. They're also going to be recorded and posted, so you can watch it later. If you can't do it synchronously, if you don't show up, you can still watch it later and do a one-pager and turn it in. Does that make sense for everybody? Does anybody have any questions on that? Yep. Okay. This is what I usually use for a lot of my presentations, the splash page. You know, study nuclear engineering, save the world. That's kind of our tagline in our department. We've had some of our students be interviewed on TV, and they say that. It always makes me smile when they say, yeah, I'm studying nuclear engineering to save the world. And that can be either with respect to decarbonization, you know, clean energy, reduce global warming, or it can be related to diagnostics or treatment in the medical field. Okay, we have Alyssa, do you want to come up and talk about our Diversity and Equity Inclusion Action Committee?
Yeah, okay. Some of you have seen me from the grad student orientation. For those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Alyssa. I am one of the 2 co-chairs for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Action Committee. And this is a group that is within the department that is open to everybody, faculty, staff, students, undergrad and grad. And so this is an organization where...
Probably should have given you that.
Oh, that would be good. This is an organization where we are working to create a more diverse, equitable, and obviously inclusive space for the department to exist and thrive in. And so some of the things that we are working on this academic year include building a website and a dashboard so we can better or make our metrics more transparent. We're working on improving our recruitment and retention efforts. We and the Nuclear Engineering Grad Student Association, which you'll hear more from next, have been working very closely with the department on improving the ways in which we equitably conduct our faculty and student recruitment. One of the recruitment-related things that we're hoping to do this academic year is to partner more with historically black college and universities, minority institutions, as well as local minority black schools, local majority black schools, including Fulton High School and Austin East High School. We wanted to do this in the spring semester, but after losing, they suffered the loss of a student there named Anthony Thompson Jr., and so we had to delay all of that until this year. So we're really excited to partner with them. and I want to tell a little bit of a story about these schools. I was told when I first started grad school here, and I was a first-year grad student, by some of the folks who were doing outreach here at the time that are now since graduated, that those schools were not worth going to because the students there, according to them, didn't care and they weren't worth our time. And that breaks my heart because I went there after the death of Anthony Thompson Jr. in support of their student body, and those students really have what it takes. They have the power to stand up for what they believe in, and they have the strength to be a part of our department, and they have everything that it takes to be a nuclear engineer. They are motivated, and some of those students may not know that the opportunity is there for them to come and join us, and I want to show them that. I want to show them that we care, and I want to show them that our doors are open to them. So if you want to be a part of those and those activities, our recruitment and retention committee, even though it's not listed here, is meeting on September 2nd. September 2nd is...
Did you say second?
2nd. September 2nd. It's not listed here. September 2nd.
What time are they meeting?
I believe it is 4:30 p.m.
On campus?
This is virtual as of right now.
Okay, good.
So
I got
virtually,
you. September 2nd is the
September
football
2nd.
game. And at 3 o'clock, life changes here on campus. It goes from normal
Yeah.
campus mode to college football weekend mode. Meaning after 3 o'clock next Thursday, if you're parked in any of the parking lots, you can get towed. So I've sent an email to all of the faculty and the staff telling them that, as 3 o'clock nears on Thursday, I suggest everybody get off campus. I suggest everybody teach their classes through Zoom. We're allowed to do that for that special occasion. And I have a feeling from 8 o'clock in the morning it's going to be tailgating and it's going to be different here on campus. Go ahead, Alyssa. Sorry to interrupt.
You'll get your
Just
mic.
wanted to make sure that you weren't planning anything on campus.
Oh yeah, no. This is virtual. To get the link, we're on Slack, and I've added some of you to the Slack. To get to the department Slack, I believe it's tiny.utk.edu/ne. Should I write that too? I think that's right. If we have all of your emails, so if you want, maybe we can just email them.
I can. Yeah, if you send me
we'll do
anything,
that,
I'll
we'll do
email
that.
it to the class.
Okay. So join
We
the
can post
department
it
Slack.
on the seminar website.
There are some DAYAC channels in the department Slack. That's the link. The meeting link for virtual DAYAC meetings is always the same. It never changes. All of that is in Slack. So join the department Slack. Other things to know for DAYAC, we're doing a pasta and game night on September 8th at 6 p.m. And what we're doing is we're going to give everybody that wants some free pasta starting September 1st. There will be pasta in Ashley's office, and you can just come by and pick it up. And on September 8th, we're going to virtually cook pasta together and then play some virtual games as like a department community building thing. And then the first general DAYAC meeting is September 14th. So those are our 3 dates, right? September 2nd, what's happening September 2nd? Yeah, Promise knows, but Promise is in DAYAC. What's happening September 8th? Thank you. And then when's the first general meeting? Yes, thank you. All right.
Great. Thank you, Alyssa. Dr. Worth, are you going to have a pasta cooking training? No pasta cooking? If you want to go to the best place to eat in Knoxville, you have to go over to Dr. Worth's house. Right? Right. Okay, so the next quick presentation will be from Edward. Here you go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I just kind of want to take a few moments to talk about the Nuclear Engineering Graduate Student Assembly, or NEGS as we call it. So essentially, our mission is to serve as a collaborative forum that enables UTK NE graduate students to initiate and engage in discussions with the department. And we also host and help with other events, such as the recruiting event or any other lectures that we might host. Over the past few years, we had some major accomplishments, noting the Colloquium request form, revamping the recruiting efforts, and looking at having feedback to the graduate handbook. outside of the actual department, we have a graduate student speaker series, which is essentially kind of a student-led colloquium. And besides things with the department, we also have several outreach events. We're going to have our first semester meeting today at 5 p.m. in NEB 302, and we'll have a guest lecture by the University Omnibuds person. So if you can come out, you really should, and get to know all of us.
Great, thank you. It's quick. So we're really fortunate to have these leaders as part of our student body. I've been here for 26 years, and we didn't have a graduate council event like this. And thanks to Dr. Brown for helping provide some guidance and mentorship and helping get that started, and then Alyssa just to take off with Dr. Penshoff and to get the DIAC going. Really, they're showing leadership not just in our department, but really throughout the university. Alyssa gave a presentation to our college leadership, the dean and all the department heads, just a day or two ago. It was very well received. It's great to be a part of a team that that I feel is certainly out front doing the right thing. So thank you both. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit. So this is my normal, it changes every year, but this is my normal State of the Department address. So I'll tell you a little bit about the department, a little bit about metrics of the department, what's going on, what's new in the department. One of the biggest new things in this department is this building we're sitting in. I hope in the next month or so we'll all have our offices open and we'll be here then. But we're the first nuclear engineering department. My last boss, we used to say we're the oldest. And she said, you don't brag about being the oldest, you brag about being the first. So all my slides are changed. We're now the first nuclear engineering department in the U.S. I've been called out on this. I know when we did our accreditation document, we sent that out to have it externally reviewed, and they're like, well, in your first paragraph, you say you were the first nuclear engineering department in the country. That's, not true. I'm from, I guess I won't throw universities out there. I'm from this other university. We graduated a student, a year before then. I'm like, I said we were the first department. I'm not claiming to be the first program, but we're the first standalone nuclear engineering department. There were a few programs that started a year or two before, and there were actually 3 departments that started the year after our department started. But I think we have plenty of evidence that we are the first nuclear engineering department. I'm just going to jump on through and talk a little bit about the pandemic. In spring 2020, we moved all our classes online. We sent our students home. Some of our labs temporarily closed. Then they reopened. We had our study abroad canceled. In fact, our study abroad got canceled the next year too. So we haven't had study abroad for 2 years. And that's actually one of the, I think, most rewarding academic experiences you can have in college. I went to it the first year, and it was just fabulous. So we go to Prague, we go down to Vienna, a lot of technical activities and some really nice cultural activities too. So then last fall and this very past spring, we were basically a third of our classes were face-to-face, a third of our classes were online, and a third of our classes were hybrid. Hybrid might have been you had classes Tuesday and Thursday, and you showed up on Tuesday, and the other half of the class showed up on Thursday, and when they were here, you were Zooming, and vice versa. Most of our faculty and staff stayed remote or hybrid. We usually had at least one staff member in our office every day. But it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. I think some staff and faculty are finding out that they can do their job without wasting a 45-minute drive in and out every day. And there'll probably be some hybrid in the future. Most of our labs, our research labs, were open, and students were coming in and working in the laboratories. So I don't think it had much of a negative effect on our labs. I don't see a lot of our faculty asking for no-cost extensions to control their or to continue their research programs beyond the original close date. And then now we're here, fall of 2021. The chancellor said, I guess about last April or May, we're going to go back to pre-COVID operations. We expect, the vaccine is out. We expect everybody to be vaccinated. We expect everybody to be back in class just like nothing ever happened. I wish that's where we were right now. I wish that everybody felt safe and that everybody would be vaccinated and that the vaccine would actually work, 95% against the Delta variant. But we're not quite there yet. Hopefully things will continue to get better. But I guess the big difference right now is that, we're wearing masks in buildings. We can walk between buildings. We can play athletic activities. We can eat food without masks. But I feel for the faculty and I feel for the students. I know the faculty like to come up and teach and they like to build that rapport with the students and see them smiling or see them looking inquisitive or see them looking dumbfounded and being able to react to that and to do a better job teaching. We can't do that right now, but we're all doing our best. And again, hopefully we'll be back to normal soon. So what's the impact? Our enrollment at the university actually went up a little bit last year, or I guess this year. So the enrollments are strong. I think the learning outcomes are solid. The students are learning. The research is solid. Our research at the in this department continues to increase. I think the biggest challenge that I see as a department head, because my job is to try to help faculty, staff, and students be successful, is the job market. I think last year, just this last spring, when students were getting ready to graduate, and even the year before, the employers pulled back a little bit. They weren't coming to campus to interview. Some companies were canceling co-ops and internships, and that was a real challenge. I think people are now learning how to deal with it. There were a lot of internships that just went online and Zoomed, and students still had really good experiences. Faculty growth. The highest number of faculty that we had 17 faculty several years ago. Then went down to 15. We're back up to 16 today. I'll talk about who our new faculty are, but we have several new faces. It used to be that if you looked at these mugs here on the left, there were these 5, myself and Dr. Ruggles. There were 7 of us, and that was our nuclear engineering department. And it doesn't seem that long ago, maybe 12 years ago or so. And we didn't have any full-time research faculty. Now we have, listed here, 5 full-time research faculty. We have 5 part-time faculty. Most of those faculty are emeritus, retired. And then we have another 16 tenure track faculty. So we've about tripled the faculty size. We have some new faculty. Dr. Sobes. I didn't see Vlad here. So Dr. Sobes came to us from Oak Ridge National Laboratory. He started not this January, but the January prior. So he started just in time for COVID. He teaches the Monte Carlo class, radiation transport class. He's doing some really cool research in the use of artificial intelligence for nuclear system design. We have Sandra Bogatich. I see Sandra sitting out here. Sandra started January 2021, so just this past January, and she worked remotely her first semester, and then she drove here from Cal Berkeley just in August. So she's very new to Rocky Top. She does some really cool work in shielding, nuclear security, non-proliferation, neutron transport. She's just going to be a fabulous addition to our team. Our most recent hire is Dr. Casali. Dr. Casali is sitting over there next to Dr. Worth. She's a fusion expert. She worked at General Atomics. Both Livia and Sandra are originally from Italy. I think they're still celebrating a big football, or maybe some people call here soccer, win from Italy. Always happy to see that. We're not really sure what she's going to teach yet. She's not teaching anything this semester, but she's working with Dr. Donovan, Dr. Worth, Dr. Zinkel, and looking at where she fits in the best, maybe to teach a fusion class and then to teach a core class. Dr. Bogatich is teaching, taught radiation shielding last spring, and she's teaching the 402 Nuclear Engineering Laboratory class this semester. We had some recognitions, ANS National, Dr. Sobe getting the Early Career Reactor Physics Award, Dr. Brown having the Landis Young Member Engineering Achievement Award. That's a really special award. If you look at the winners of that award, you have National Academy members, you have a lot of nuclear engineering department heads, so that was really fabulous to see both of them get the recognition that they desire or that they deserve. Some other awards, Dr. Coble became the fellow of a maintenance-related society, an asset management society. Dr. Townsend was inducted into the International Academy of Astronautics, and it was the first faculty member that we've had at the university to be a part of that society. And then Dr. Zinkel was chair of the National Academy of Engineering Materials Engineering section. Some data now. We were ranked number 7 in the country. That's our graduate program. We don't have undergraduate program rankings, but they rank graduate programs. Graduate programs are ranked by what the other department heads vote you as. It's not a metric-based ranking like the College of Engineering has a metric-based ranking where there's some qualitative and some quantitative input that goes into that ranking. This is 100%. A lot of us call it just a beauty contest. It's what everybody else thinks of you. We have the largest PhD program in the country. We've had that for, I think, 5 years, and the largest in the history of the United States. We had 131 students a few years back. You can look at the other top 10 departments, kind of our peer group, and you see that we're a pretty small engineering program to be ranked so highly with the Berkeleys and the Georgia Techs and the MITs of the world. You know, it's one thing to look at your rankings. It's another thing to look at your outcomes and your successes. And I think a lot of our outcomes certainly put us at the very top of anyone's list of great nuclear engineering departments. There's enrollment. So we have the largest PhD program. We have the second largest undergraduate program. And we have the second largest program with respect to number of students. Texas A&M still leads in that category. This isn't always comparing apples to apples. Some programs you don't actually become a part of the nuclear engineering department until maybe your sophomore year or your junior year at the undergraduate level. Sometimes if you look at the number that you're graduating, that might be a better metric of how large your program is. There's our fall enrollment data throughout the years. You can see that 10, 15 years ago, we had a pretty small PhD program. The faculty got together, talked, did some strategic planning, and really came to the conclusion that if you want to impact the nation, usually it's PhD students that are here long enough to make a strong impact with contributions to the field. So we really changed our focus from a focus of just graduate school to a focus of really PhD programs. We still have some students that are getting a master's, and that works fine. That fits in our program, but we're really focused on our PhD students. And you can also see that our undergraduate program has been pretty flat. We don't go out and recruit heavily. We think that our number of graduates matches with the number of job openings every year pretty well. Our freshman class in 2025 is very similar to what our freshman class was last year. I think last year we had 55. We had, I think, 17% female last year, 16% female this year. We'd certainly like to have more females come into our program, have a little bit more balance there. Out of our 51 freshmen, we had 27 from Tennessee and 24 from other states. I'd be interested to see throughout the university how many other departments have almost half their students out of state. That's a lot. And part of that's from the academic common market, right? If you look at some of these states, Maryland, Louisiana, Alabama, students from those states that don't have a nuclear engineering program in one of their universities, they can come to our state, the states in the southeast, they can come to our state and be a student and pay in-state tuition. So that helps us recruit. But if you look at some of these states, you have Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is not academic common market. They have a good nuclear engineering program there, as does NC State, as does Florida, as does Illinois. But these students that could be staying there paying in-state tuition have chosen to come to the University of Tennessee. So I think that speaks really, really highly of our program, and really proud to see that. Federal research expenditures, we were ranked, I guess we were like 5th in federal research expenditures, and research expenditures per FTE, per faculty member is 4th. So our faculty do a fabulous job of going out, writing proposals for competitive grants, winning those grants, and funding all of you. I think probably our full-time PhD students are 98% funded. There's just maybe a couple of you that may not have funding, and that may be because you get funding from the Army, or you get, so I guess, anyway, I think the conclusion there is that we're very lucky to have such talented faculty that can go out and compete nationally, win research grants, so that they can fund you and help you with your education. Here's research expenditures. This is total research expenditures. In the last 10 years, I think it's been monotonically increasing. I don't have the numbers finalized for 2021. We're pretty flat where we were with 2020, which is good because we have, if you look at our research expenditures per faculty member, we were at, almost $900,000 per faculty member. The college's average is maybe $480. So we do almost twice as much research per faculty member as the college average. And if you take us out, the college average is going to be even smaller. So again, our faculty do a great job to bring in money to fund students. And the students do a great job providing the research outputs so that the funding agencies see that we're a great investment for them. So it's kind of a circular arrangement. They get the money, they fund you. You guys do a great job. The funding agencies, which are predominantly DOE and NASA, NRC, then they turn around and they fund us again. Student data. I just actually pulled this data this morning and added them to my graphs, the 2021 data. And I was a little bit surprised. I knew the Bachelor of Science degrees were down, 32. Gosh, it looks like we have some type of a periodic, every 5 or 6 years we have a year that's down a little bit. But we had 9 of those students that were going to be graduating in December from that class. They could be graduating in December because of co-ops or something like that. So still a pretty good sized class. Master's degrees. We want everybody that gets a PhD to get a master's degree on their way. Either they have a master's degree before they come here, or when you're here, we want you to get a master's degree on your way to your PhD. So if you don't have that in your plan already, please talk to your advisor, your committee chair, and make sure that happens. There's several reasons that's important. I had a student once, her mother got cancer, and she left the university for about 5 years. But she had a master's at least when she left. Some students would have nothing, right? She came back and finished her PhD. But there are some times when, life throws us a curveball, and it's nice to attain something on your way to your terminal degree. PhDs, when we had 23, that was the most in the nation and the most in the history of the United States. We had 16 this last year. That's a really strong year. Anytime we're in the double digits, we're pretty happy. If you look at the years preceding that first year, so if you look at the years of 2007, 2008, it might have been 2 PhDs a year. So when we're in 12, 15, 18, that's great. We have a new medical physics program. How many people in here are in the medical physics program? Anybody? One? Okay. So I guess if you look, our medical physics program, doesn't require any 501s. That's probably why. We don't have any or very many here in the seminar. The showcase curriculum there is for a master's degree. When we put this program together, our goal was to have 6 students every year. In the first year we had 8, and the second year we had 9. So we're meeting our goal. We're happy with that number of students. If we had 20 students, it would probably be too many because we give these students clinical experiences too. They have some clinical experiences during the academic year, and then they do a clinical experience, an internship basically in the summer. It's like one of those teaching internships. You pay to get your internship, right? Teachers, when they go their 4 years, the last year they have to go do an internship. They still have to pay tuition to the university, and then they basically go teach for free. That's really kind of similar to the way our summer internship is. But the experience that they get is fabulous. When a student graduates with a master's or PhD in medical physics, they have to go to a residency program. There are usually more students graduating across the country than there are openings in residency programs. So that means our students have to be very competitive. And by giving them summer internship opportunities, by having local hospitals say, yeah, you can come in, you can shadow with me, you can work with me. If anybody's mentored someone new in their field, if you're mentoring undergraduates, if you're a senior PhD student, you're mentoring a new master's student, you know how much time that takes. So we're very appreciative of the local doctors that are willing to take these students to come in and work with them and train them. It's interesting. This other way you can go into residency is through this medical physics graduate certificate. Most graduate certificates here at the university require 4 classes. This requires more than 4 classes, but it's CampEP accredited. That's the medical physics accreditation board, similar to what ABET is. But here, the graduate certificate is for students who already have a PhD. So I have my PhD in physics, but I want to go into medical physics. Well, you can get this graduate certificate. So that's really a different program than what we usually think of as a medical physics or as a graduate certificate. Placement data, you see the big change here in placement data is as last year we had still seeking, 33%. Usually we're around 10%. And it's funny because a lot of those 10% that say still seeking, or sometimes you have some that are not looking. We had a student graduate a few years back that was going to go home and work on the family farm in Tennessee with a nuclear engineering degree. I don't know what they're doing on their farm. It's pretty interesting. I exit interview every single graduating student at the undergraduate level. And I'll have students say, yeah, I'm going to take a year off and go travel Europe. I guess if you want to go travel Europe for a year, there may not be a better year to do it, because once you get working and making the money, I think it's a lot more difficult to give it up. But we usually have about half our students going to graduate school. This last year, the still seeking and that low 22 from employment is a little bit concerning. But when you look 6 months out, and that's what career placement, career services looks at, our students had work. a lot of those students that were still seeking, a lot of those were looking for a job, but if I don't get a job, I'll go to graduate school here or I'll go to graduate school somewhere else. So I think it turned out okay, but it certainly wasn't ideal for us. These are the high impact practices really at our bachelor's level. And community-based learning, that's probably the hardest one for us to, at least for myself, to really track and put a metric to. But what we have done is we've said, okay, if people have student society involvement, the student societies are usually really out working in the communities and doing that type of work. If you're in social work, you might have more formal programs where you could get the community-based learning. Undergraduate research, 64% of our students did undergraduate research. That's really, really high. And that's, again, because we have fabulous faculty that go out and bring in research projects so that they can fund not only graduate students but undergraduate students. And it's a great opportunity for the graduate students to mentor some of these undergraduate students. A lot of times you really learn something once you start teaching something. 58% of our students that graduated this last year got a minor. And I always tell the students, if you want to graduate and go off and work, if you have a minor, if you have co-ops, those things are going to help you. If you want to go to graduate school, undergraduate research, internships at national laboratories are going to help you. Internships and co-ops, 45%. Historically, that's been about 66%. But I think COVID chewed into that somewhat. Senior design, everybody does senior design, and our study abroad has been put on hold for the last 2 years. So these are the 5 high-impact practices that some research has shown have the largest effect on a student's career once they graduate. So these are 5 things that we really focus on. I don't think, a decade ago we focused on these. I know we did because we didn't even have a study abroad, but now we do, and these are things that we focus on. These are the minors that we have. One of our newest minors is our nuclear safety minor. In fact, I think we had more people in our department choose that minor or graduate that minor than any of the other minors, and it had only been around for a year. There's also, at the graduate level, there's a nuclear safety concentration, which just takes you, it requires you to take a specific subset of classes. Okay, talk about the new nuclear engineering complex. I shouldn't really say the new nuclear engineering complex. If you do that in front of our associate dean for research and facilities, he has a heart attack or some type of a cardiac event. They did it. We had ask Livia. Livia, I think, saw it. We were at the new faculty meeting over at the Cumberland House. And Paul Freimeyer, the Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs, called it the new nuclear engineering building. And Bill Dunn had a cardiac right there. He goes, it's not nuclear engineering, it is the engineering complex. In fact, the nuclear engineers don't even have the majority of the space in that building. Yeah, but we still call it the new nuclear engineering building. And if you ever see Dr. Dunn, you can say, oh, weren't you in charge of making that new nuclear engineering building? You did a great job. And you'll see his eyes roll back in his head, and he'll start shaking. I better watch it. This is being taped. No, but this is so he helped us with the Minkow building, the Tickle building, and this was his 3rd building. So his leadership in helping with the building has just been fabulous. But he wants to make sure that this is not called the nuclear engineering building. But there is the front of the nuclear engineering building. So for those that don't know, about half of this building, or one side of the building, is nuclear engineering. The other side of the building is engineering fundamentals, our freshman engaged program, our freshman engineering program. We're right next to the stadium, so if you put a line right in between the 2 big halves of the building, game day, that half is all closed. Game day, the nuclear engineering half is all open. And then if you get to the research wings up on the top few floors, the college owns those, and that's really for people who get expanded research programs and need new space. So it's really about a third. In fact, if you looked here, it's about a third nuclear, about a third engineering fundamentals, about a third additional research laboratories. That's what it looks like from the, well, that's the artist rendition of the backside. And we don't have any of the greenery yet, but that's what we looked like yesterday. And this wing here on the right, that's kind of our wing, and then our laboratories are kind of in this back half on the lower section. Does anybody know what that is? No faculty are allowed to say anything. Does anybody know what that is? It's sitting right outside here. What's it look like? Yeah, it looks like a reactor pressure vessel. Yeah. So it is it's actually the bumpy torus. It came down from NASA Glenn probably about 25 years ago now with a faculty member, Reese Roth. It was used in the late 60s, some of the very first electromagnetic confinement for kind of the predecessor to fusion. So it was sitting up in surf, or kind of outside in surf, and it was ugly as can be. It had paint just chipping off on it. And I thought it was something that should continue to have a history. So we got them to build a little place to put it, and now it sits, that fence will be ripped down and stuff. So actually looking to put like a little solar panel in front with a big green light in it, so at night it kind of glows green. That'll be nice. Space allocations, there's like 32 faculty offices, 20 postdoc offices. There's graduate student offices. It was for 90 funded students, but we actually, our new business manager, Jay Cooley, said, we don't need filing cabinets anymore. We had an active filing room and then an inactive filing room. So 2 rooms that were like office sizes that had maybe 8 or 9 filing cabinets to keep all of our paperwork. And he says, we're getting rid of paperwork. And I thought, yeah. But it's true. He got rid of it. So those 2 rooms are going to go into, one of those rooms is for more graduate student seating, and the other one is for our financial specialist. 3 classrooms. Originally this was supposed to be an 80-person classroom, but now it's 60. And if you go up to second floor over, what is that, 361, 362? Yeah, 260. 260. 3. Anyway, there's a 20-person and a 30-person classroom up there. So that works really well for most of our graduate classes. 60-person classroom is good for our undergraduate classes, but if we have more than one undergraduate class going on at the same time, then we have to, not everybody's going to be in this building for every class. And we were used to that when we had Pasqua. This was this little building there on the right. That was Pasqua Nuclear Engineering Building. We had a 49-person classroom in there, and then we had a couple small classrooms. So we were kind of used to that. Now if we have other needs for large classrooms, they'll primarily be up in Tickle. Yes?
Will we have a refrigerator, like one of the red rooms or something like that?
Yeah, I think we're going to have 4 nuclear engineering refrigerators here. So if you go down these wings, the research wings, at the end of every research wing, there's like a collaboration area, and then there's an 6 or 8-person conference room. So those are really for the people who are working on those wings, or just doing research. And there'll be a small refrigerator on each one of those on every floor, and a microwave, because there's a little kitchenette area there. On this floor, or first floor, there's a couple collaboration rooms at the end, and then like group study rooms for 6 people to get together and study. Really nice, overlook the river. You go up to the next floor, the second floor, there's the American, well, I used to say it was the A&S, but really it's the Student Society's suite. It's not just A&S, it's INMM, it's Health Physics Society, it's WIN, WIN's Women in Nuclear. And there'll be like a collaboration area, and then there's some computers there. There's like the student library, and then they have their own conference room. It's like a 10-person conference room with a conference table. If they want to have meetings, if you want to have society meetings. And there's a refrigerator there. It's kind of interesting. There'll be a microwave. There'll also be a refrigerator. The hole for the refrigerator is 34 inches wide, which is like a full-size refrigerator. If we go up to the 4th floor, the 4th floor has a faculty and staff break room. The hole for our refrigerator is 31 inches. So the students got the big refrigerator. Upstairs we'll have a smaller refrigerator. And then there's I guess just a little refrigerator in the executive conference room on the 4th floor, but that's really for beverages for people that are having a conference. So there are some refrigerators around that you can use. And there's microwaves. Now, people have to take care of them, clean up after themselves. If it gets to be a total mess and a bacteria spawning ground, we're going to have some other discussions. Because we don't have staff who go in there and clean those. So everybody really needs to clean up after themselves. But we have 23. So this kind of shows, here's on first floor, here's where we are. So at the end are these 2 small conference rooms. And you'll be able to check those out. Here's like the collaboration room at the end of these research hallways. Then here's a small conference room. So and the same kind of design goes all the way up a little bit. These ends on the administrative sides, wings, we kind of think this is like 4 wings. There's this wing is engineering fundamentals. On the 4th floor, it's the College of Engineering Dean's Suite and the Dean's offices. This is mainly research. If you get down low, then there's, I think, honors and engineering fundamental laboratories. Nuclear administrative people are basically in this space, up through 4 floors. And then up through 5 floors, these are the research wings. And there's also a basement where we have some shielded spaces that we're going to have some really cool shielded facilities, linear accelerator, something that we've been designing called a fast neutron source. Okay, this was the original schedule. And up until 2 months ago, everybody kept saying, we are on schedule and under budget. And then we're supposed to move in July, and can't move in July, but we're still on schedule. No, you're not on schedule anymore. And we were going to have our grand opening on October 8th, and now that's going to be delayed till spring. Construction was supposed to be complete in July, and we were supposed to be moving in. We were able to, well, I had another slide. I guess I lost it. We were able to move in on August 8th, so we had our classrooms here. They're open. The next priority is the engineering fundamental staff and faculty. I think they'll probably be moving in early September. And then after that will be nuclear engineering faculty, staff, and students. So I'm expecting late September. And then after that will be laboratory moves. Our counting laboratory has been moved. That's really our only teaching laboratory. So, the teaching entities had the highest priority, the classrooms and teaching laboratories. So that's the plan. Kind of in summary. Oh, there's where my current and future status. So this is basically what I just said, laboratories in October and November. And we just keep our fingers crossed and hope that happens. I think that concludes my presentation. Happy to field some questions. Yes. Whoop. Just hold it. Let's go ahead and pass the microphone around. The microphone, they can hear it, at the webcast, but we don't hear it inside. So it doesn't go through the speaker system. So make sure you speak loud enough so that everybody can hear.
Sure. Okay. So for the graduate student offices, do you think that's an October, November thing, or is that you're going to try to aim for September for that?
They look like they're ready right now. When you walk out of here, let's see. If you walk to the end of the hall, and before you get to those 2 little conference rooms, if you look left and right, there's like these 10-person graduate student rooms where they can, they have like 10 workspaces in there. That's what most of them look like on the other floors. So it's on the first floor, the second, third floor, and the third floor. The second floor and the third floor, the whole middle section are just graduate student rooms, and then there's some some postdoc or research associate rooms where they have 2 people to a room in there. I think they should be moving in towards the end of September.
Cool. Thank you.
Other questions? Dr. Maldonado. I say that when I walk into his office, and he's usually in thought, and he jumps up out of his seat.
He always
Stands at
startles me,
attention
yeah.
like this.
Just a question. I was curious about those collaboration areas.
Yeah.
So are those offices or rooms that we can schedule for meetings with our students, or
Yeah.
where are we gonna? Is that where we?
Yeah. So
should
we're
plan to
actually
meet?
going to have a lot of conference rooms that we can schedule. I mean, so we have the small ones at the end of each of the research areas. And I'm not exactly sure how we're going to schedule those. Okay. Then we have the executive conference room, we'll call it, up on the 4th floor. That'll seat 36, 40 people. And then there's also a bench that goes all the way along the side, so people could come in and sit. So you probably put 50 people in there. One requirement, if you have 50 people in a room or more than 50, you have to have 2 doors. That's a fire, and it has 2 doors, so we can put kind of as many as we want. So then if you go, that's the 4th floor. If you go down to the 3rd floor, that's right above the student society suite, there is about a 6-person or 7, maybe it's an 8-person conference room to the right, and then I think an 18-person conference room to the left. So if you have a large research group, you can schedule that one. So there's lots of different sizes. I mean, Dr. Worth might have to go at the executive conference room, unless he splits his group in 2. Then he can get into the 18-person room. And then, so there's 2 conference rooms there. If you go down, the Student Society has their own conference room. If you come down this floor, there's a couple kind of 6-person, really collaboration, students working together, senior design type rooms, or all those rooms should be used so that when you're in your GRA or GTA, GRA corral, when you're in, where you have 11 people or 10 people, and you don't want to be talking to your person next to you and disturbing everybody else in your room. So we have all these collaboration. And then there are just these kind of casual collaboration areas. There's one down here at the end that has a room. At the end of each of the research wings, there's a room where they have tables and you can sit outside. If you go up to our 4th floor, I don't know, maybe there's 4 tables that'll be along the end there that's outside. That's our nuclear engineering balcony. I don't have to call that the engineering balcony. That is our nuclear engineering balcony. Dr. Dunn will let me say that. And then on the 4th floor, there's a big outside area that has tables. As you walk in here, there's going to be a pod where you can buy food immediately to your right. I don't know what the schedule is on the pod. And then there's, on each of these floors, kind of in between the 2 major wings of the building, there's tables and places where if you buy food at the pods, you can go out there. There's tables, wrought iron tables outside, both in the front and the back. So I think they've done a really good job so far. I also think there's going to be, on the 1st floor in the restroom, there's actually showers. So if someone wanted on their lunch break to go out and jog 10 miles down and 10 miles back in 95-degree heat, they don't have to come sit right next to their friend. They can actually go down and take a shower first. So that'll be nice. That's something that they tried to do in Ming Kao in the Electrical Engineering Computer Science building, and it never happened. So it's still in my plans. I haven't gone down there and actually looked at it because that door's been locked. But I think there's going to be a couple showers down there. Other questions? No? Oh.
Do we have a terrace?
A terrace?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the balcony. Yeah, so we have a nuclear engineering balcony. And the balcony actually has they call it a hose bib. Has a water spigot. So on football Saturdays, if people are partying down there, we can get our hose out, spray them. Or we can water the plant, right? But I did request that, and there is a hose bib up there on the fourth floor. So we'll see how much trouble we get in with that. They may have that hose bib disconnected and locked up like by October. We'll see. And then on the fourth floor, there's a big outdoor area. In fact, if you come out of the break room there, it goes right out to the outside area, and they'll have tables there. So there's a lot of good, and that just looks right out to the river. So that'll be really nice. Other questions? Yeah.
Have the study rooms opened yet, or is that like a later thing?
The study rooms.
Like the collaboration rooms you were talking about?
Yeah, they're not opened yet. Okay. So I would expect them to open kind of when a lot of them look done. But there's actually, if you look through, like even there on that glass window, all the faculty offices have I didn't want them, and I got overridden in a meeting, I guess, that I wasn't there. But they have these side lights, and if you look through, and there's big windows at the end of the graduate student rooms. They're actually going to put a film on those windows, kind of going through it to kind of, so you don't feel like you're completely under a microscope. And the film's kind of cool. It actually took a long time to get figured out. But it basically is fission. So there's like a neutron born here, and it goes here, it hits this thing, and then it fissions. Then one of these hits something, fissions. So it just is like a big nuclear chain reaction going all around throughout the building. And the nuclear spaces, I think up in the Deans, I think it's a Smoky Mountain kind of. So you can see through it, but there's kind of opaqueness. You can see these designs in it. So I expect that the study areas, the collaboration areas, all those things, I don't expect them to be open up until they allow the faculty, staff, and students in. And out of faculty, staff, and students, the staff will move first, and then faculty and students. So we can't get anything done without the staff. Maybe you can pass this way back to the corner, please.
Are the offices going to be cubicles, or is it just going to be like open desks?
I don't have a picture here. You can actually, when we get done, you can go down and look in. They're not full cubicles. They all of them face walls, and I think they have small partitions in the side, but they're not full-size cubicles. And I think most of them have 10 people to rooms. Like there's 5 on this side facing that way, 5 on that side facing that way. There's a small whiteboard in case people want to, in case without disturbing other people, you want to get up and have a little bit of a technical discussion. All these windows, there's not going to be people going up and putting big posters on them and blocking them out. A lot of it is for light to come in. So the outdoor light gets through the offices, gets under the inner offices. But we're going to take care of the new building. We're not going to go up and start masking off big areas. All the glass should be left the way it's found. Anybody else? Olivia, Dr. Casali. You pass that back, please.
All right, so I take the opportunity.
I know you would like a larger office.
Well, compared to the one I had at General Atomics.
Well, everybody compared to, we were in this old building, and everybody has these huge offices. And I told everybody, put a piece of tape down here, because that's what you're going to have when you get into the new building. All these offices are sized, and the student work area are sized per THEC, Tennessee Higher Education Committee. It's all part of their policies and their guidelines. So
I did not want to talk about office, so
I
just wanted to say, I arrived 2 weeks ago from San Diego. I've been working at General Atomics for the last few years, and I don't know if you know, General Atomics hosts the biggest fusion machine of the U.S., also the only machine running, one of the leading fusion facilities in the entire world. And so we are really, really happy to be expanding this fusion program here at UTK. I'm developing a new course for fusion and plasma physics, which I will be teaching next spring. So if you are interested, you are welcome to join or ask questions. I'm also one of the leader of a specific area for the D3D tokamak, which is the facility, and we have a lot of collaboration with other facilities around the world. So a lot of opportunities for joint experiments, and hopefully when COVID is over, for traveling. It's very exciting. We are really excited about expanding our fusion program. I just wanted to say, if you want to know more about the research group or what are our plans, just stop by and please pass by and talk to us.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Something else I can mention, because I don't think there might have been a little bit of a news release, but Dr. Casale is one of our first 2 Zinkel Fellows. So Dr. Zinkel and his family made a very nice endowment to the department, and that endowment has been used to help recruit and retain great faculty like Dr. Casale. So Dr. Casale is one of our Zinkel Fellows, and the other Zinkel Fellow is Dr. Donovan. So congratulations, Dr. Donovan. Dr. Donovan's had a fabulous academic career here at the university so far, and we try to reward our faculty that really completely go beyond expectations. Yes, definitely. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. If anything comes up, if you ever have a question, first go to your faculty mentor. If you still have a question, come to me. Thank you.